Welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of the dirt cheap budget revival of my grandpa's 71 C10 Old Yeller. In this episode, we're going to get some new wheels and tires on here, some new headlights, as well as correcting that god-awful super bright yellow paint on the driver's side. I'm Riley. Welcome to RyGuys Garage. The gauge cluster here. I've already pushed the switch to pull this light switch all the way out. Take your positive terminal off your battery when you're doing this because your lights will be on. And then there's a little set screw underneath on the wiper dial itself. It's a little set screw, just undo it, pop that out, then undo all these screws all the way around the bezel. Undo this bracket, 2 bolts there, and just pull this up, and this should come right out without any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because we're going to rebuild it. You can see how everything's faded in there. Half the lights don't even work, so we're gonna tinker with some brighter 194 bulbs or just go straight to LED. You can see all this stuff is faded. That's supposed to have like a green tint to it. So we might end up putting green LED bulbs in here just to kind of get that. I don't want to put LEDs in here because they are really bright and I like how dim the gauge cluster is, but it might end up being something we're going to have to do if we don't want to buy new gauges, because all these gauges are pretty expensive. So try to refurbish what we got and see what we can do. Got it out. Took me a little bit. She's super dirty. So what you have to do is, this is your speedo cable. You have to reach your hand up in behind this. This will just be hand tight only. Go ahead and spin this off, and then you have this plug for your main electricals on your harness right here. I had to get in there, pry it out with my fingers, those 2 tabs, and then just get in here and just pry it up very slowly so I didn't break anything. Once you do all that, that'll be your last step. You'll have this oil pressure line if you have that option. So what I had to do was pull this gauge cluster out as much as I could after I removed the speedo cable. Ideally, you want a line wrench, 5/16, to remove that. I was able to do it with a normal box end wrench. Really would have benefited if I had a line wrench for that. But that's how you remove that. Pretty simple. Just be patient or else you're going to start breaking stuff. We need to remove all these spots, the sockets for the lights, and you can see that a lot of them are going to be burnt out. Okay, so now we need to remove the points to remove this printed circuit board here. So swap over here. Make sure we don't lose any of this hardware. All right. Move our board here very carefully. Let's see what we got. Okay. Should be able to just remove these and then remove these gauges. Yeah. That was nice. So we see how faded this needle is, right? Compared to what it actually should be. So I think I might make a trip to the old Walmart here and see if I can get something just to bring that back to the orange that it's supposed to be. All right, so we can remove this now. There's so much dirt in here. Just like look at all that. And you can see it kind of, it etched everything in there over time. Sun faded it. That's cool. Here, we're gonna clean up all this stuff and see if we can make it look new. See how dirty these are. Pretty nasty. Yep, easiest way to clean this. By a long shot. It's so nasty. Give that a quick wipe down. Good as new. So we're painting these gauges right now. All I did was, there was no paint pens, so I just went and got, come on now, focus, some Rust-Oleum, you know, fluorescent orange paint. Put it into a little cap here and got a little brush and just started painting away. It's very, very close. It's not 100%, but it's like 90%. So that's good enough for me. I went ahead and glued that back on. I don't really anticipate it staying on there, but we'll find out. So I ripped this gauge cluster apart, put it back together, and after I cleaned it and repainted the fluorescent back on the needles, a huge difference. Like, this is, you got to look at it. It's just from what it was to what it is now. It's not perfect, but for free or for $3 in paint, phenomenal difference. So I tried playing around with a couple different sets of lights here, and I apologize for all these peepers cutting into the video, but these are actually white LEDs that I put in place of the gauges right now. I tried green. I didn't like green. These white ones actually look kind of teal, and they're perfect. They may be a little bit too bright, but they look fantastic. It's showing up exactly the same color that they actually are on the gauges, which is awesome. I tried to throw back in the incandescent lights, and they were just way too dim for wanting to have light in here. And that was at full brightness. So these white LEDs are absolutely perfect. I'd highly recommend them. So right now I'm on my way to the auto parts store. We have a Huvis Auto Parts here, and they're able to do custom paint match colors with a paint gun. They will put it onto your body panel, and it shows them exactly what the color mixture is, and they can custom make aerosol cans. That's unfortunately what we're going to have to do, which might end up being way more expensive. I don't want to color match the 511 ochre color. That's a factory color because it's way too bright, and I actually like the faded color that the ochre turned into over time with the oxidation. So right now we have the tailgate panel here. We're going to go into Huvis and have them paint match this for us, the faded portion, and then try to respray the truck. Hopefully they can make close to an identical match, or at least something very, very close, because the color that's on it now is just god awful. It's way too bright. My brother's the one who actually repainted that when he was younger, and it's just not good. So we're gonna see what we can do here, and hopefully we got a custom color that is gonna be the nice faded ochre color. So we got the paint from Hovis, and I did a spray out already on the tailgate, and this is how close it matches. This is the factory paint. This is what we established that was correct. I mean, we're talking like 99% paint match. Pretty close. So we're going to get rid of all these god-awful yellow colors. You can see where I already started to spray it. These sprayers are not the best. Not a huge fan, but hopefully that clears up once we put some more layers on it. Here we go. So the first formulation that I had Hovis make up is up there. You can see that it's a little too gold, and my wife just said go ahead and paint the truck that color, but I think it's a little too gold for my taste, and I wanted to get it closer to that. So I had 2 more cans made up, and I had them add an additional 30 grams of yellow. So we'll see if we can get closer to the original faded color of this paint. Hoping everything shows up on camera. So there's the oxidized color that we tried to match to. And then here's that same color if it were buffed or shined up a little bit. And then I buffed the edge here real quick to kind of show you. I mean, that's so close. I think I pretty much nailed it. It's about as close as I can get without completely screwing up the color formulation. But I mean, that's really close. It's way closer than what it used to be, which was that bright yellow. So I'm gonna try to get the hood shined up, try to blend this in a little bit more, and then we'll get back to you. So you can see where I got overspray on the window because I didn't want to tape it off. But man, that is just so close. Like, I think we're right on the money. Once I buff this out like I did the other side, because that side's way more yellow than this side, get all that oxidation out, I think it'll be 100% spot on. As you can tell here, this is a way different color than this, but this needs buffed also because, again, it changes like 6 different shades once you buff it. And it probably looks a little bright from here, but it's not. I'll bring that down a little bit. I mean, it's there. It's really, really close. Have to fix that color right there with this new color that I had them custom make and tweak. So what I'm going to do right now is pop these wheels and tires off since they keep going flat. You can see that I already did the front, so we're going to go ahead and put those same wheels on the back and then do a far away shot. I bought these for about $100 from somebody locally, and the chrome is chipping off of them, and I also don't like chrome. So we're going to go ahead and rattle can rebuild these things, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So you can see all the chrome chipping and stuff, but I'm just taking this peel coat stuff, same as Plasti Dip, and spraying the wheels, and hopefully it holds. I did it on another set of wheels that I slapped onto a Nova just to move back and forth, and so far they actually haven't come off. This was the worst wheel of all, so I figured instead of paying a couple $100 to recoat this, might as well just respray them. And they look pretty sweet. So you can get these in the option of like the gunmetal gray with the polished lip. And I really wanted that polished lip, but there's no way for me to achieve that with these chrome wheels. And then this is all chipped off anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and rattle can rebuild these suckers, and I'll get back to you when they're done. So these have gotten a chance to dry, and here is the finished product. It's not perfect, but these look way better than what they used to look like by a long shot. So as you can see, I'm into the wiring on this thing. This plug would not work. You can see that it's been cobbled together a few times over the years, and it's just, I just kind of want to redo it, and it doesn't need to be that terribly long. The light wouldn't even work, so we're just going to go ahead and wire in one of these new off-the-shelf plugs and hook up the light, see what it looks like. It's the next day. Finally got the headlights installed, so I'm going to do a little B-roll and show you guys what they look like.